Hey, it's me. I can see me now. I am on air. It says so. Let's go. Welcome to Ask a Stupid Question podcast. That was funny. I was laughing a lot at Dan Galf, especially. Also, the Sauron was good. How's everyone doing? So, this is Ask a Stupid Question. I've bought a bunch of questions that I'm going to sort of get into, but you have the ability to send them in the chat wherever you're watching or listening, I believe, or send them to studio at superpod.co.uk. So send them in and I'll answer them as we go as well. Shout outs to Al. This is a really cool event. Thanks again for having me on. And don't forget, we're raising money for comic relief. So go to superpod.co.uk and the donate button's on the top right for anyone that wants to donate. So I'll get into my questions, but as I say, at any point, send some in. So I just grabbed some off the internet. Sometimes we just take one question and go with that, but I just thought let's go with loads of little stupid questions. They're not all stupid though, and they don't have to be. But here we go. What were you really into when you were a kid? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and wrestling. I just remembered because I think Dan put it in that he's into wrestling. I found this in my cupboard when I was digging out stuff to make my personality show on camera. I got this. I think that's the best thing that could show my. I'm holding this as well, but that's more because I get nervous and my hands do annoying things that get picked up by the mic. But this is quiet, so that's good. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was massively into that. My favorite was Raphael, I think, because he was such a troubled person in the real life action one. You remember that? If you don't, you're missing a treat. It was special effects like you will not see today. Go check that out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original film. The remake wasn't too bad. It got panned, didn't it? But it was all right. And also, shout outs to my parents because they bought me a turtle blimp and it was probably the coolest thing I ever owned to this day. Yep, no, I thought about it. It is. It's the coolest thing I've owned to this day. What do you think of tattoos and do you have any? I like tattoos. I think they look cool on other people. I've never got one myself. I've never been so confident in something that I would. What's a silt? Someone has asked, what's your favorite silt? Am I really stupid and I don't know what a silt is, or is that a spelling mistake? I'm going to Google it. But I'll Google. Fine clay and other materials. Yeah, is that what we were? I'm going to go with just normal clay. Sorry, I don't know much about silt. But thanks for the question. Keep them coming. What else? What was I saying? Yeah, so the tattoos. When I was younger, I had some big plans for the ink, big ink plans for myself. But I never, like I said, I never got to the point where I was like, yes, definitely. Because you have to wait to 18. I think that's probably good because if I was legally allowed to get a tattoo and I had the money when I was younger than 18, I would be covered in them. I'd have a Tupac tattoo. I maybe wouldn't regret that one, but I remember when Miss Dynamite's album A Little Deeper came out, I wanted to get a tattoo that said Miss Dynamite a little deeper on my body somewhere because I was just so into that album for like 2 weeks or something. It's a good album, don't get me wrong, but it's not an eternal thing that I want on my body that defines who I am. So that's where I've struggled. So I've never got one myself. It says there was a follow-up question. If you had to get a tattoo right now, what would it be and where on your body? I think the safest bet would be a Tupac tattoo because that's the mainstay of my life for like 20 odd years now. Goodness me, that's a long time. There was a time when I was trying to combine a Tupac and Kanye West tattoo. It's all just, whenever I think of what I was going to get in the past, I'm always just glad I didn't actually get it. So But if I had to get one right now, it'd probably be a Tupac one, and it'd probably be on my arm. What's your favorite way to waste time? I'd like to listen to music, and I'm big on gaming right now. Since the pandemic, I've always liked it, but now, it's like a huge part of my social and relaxation, waste time life. Although I try not to waste time, I try to, is it wasting time to relax and regroup? I don't think so. Need to do that. Little message for you there, guys. Um, Talking of gaming, I'm on Twitch, not really LTD, cheeky little plug. Who is your oldest friend and where did you meet? My friend, there's a few friends that we met in lower school and we're still in contact. My friend Mutz, who's been on the show. Shout outs to Mutz if he's listening. Matt, who's also been on the show. Shout outs to Matt. My friend Johnny was also. There's some people that I still consider friends from back then that I don't really see very much, but those are the people that I'm still in contact from back then. Shout outs across the time space continuum. If you had intro music, what would it be and why? I wouldn't want one song. I don't think there's one song that covers every entrance I make into everywhere. So I'd like it to match the situation. Like if I'm coming in to take some names, I'd like the Stone Cold crash, the glass crash, and then come bursting through into the room. That would be good. If I'm trying to be cool, which I am sometimes, maybe some hip hop music. It'd be good if you walked into a pub and it just cut off whatever music they're playing, like spotlight on you, play some hip hop music. I don't think I have the personality that could then carry off what that would do to a room, but that moment would be cool. I might just do it, look around, and then walk back out. That'd be a good night for me. I like All I Do Is Win by DJ Khaled, and if you haven't heard that, listen to that. That is a motivational song. That'll just get you in the mood for anything if you walked into a room. Whatever you're about to do, you're about to win. That's a good message to have for yourself. What do you do to get rid of stress? Gaming, like I said. Music, very good. I love driving around and listening to music, and it's something I miss, although I try to do it where if I have to drive somewhere at the moment, I'll just play the music as loud as I possibly can. Not unfortunately, but my daughter's often in the car, so I can't always listen to the exact songs I want, and because they've got some spicy words in them. But it's I just adjust my tastes for that. I also love comedy, sitcoms. They really calm me right down. You could be in such a bad mood, and you just put on a sitcom. Wonder knows. Wonder built a whole psyche around it. So, I'm watching New Girl at the moment, which is kind of typical sitcom in some ways, but it's got some unique elements and it makes me laugh. It's really kind of just a nice atmosphere. Sitcoms aren't always about falling over laughter. Someone has asked, it's SuperPod, who would be the worst sitcom character to live with? That is a good question. Who would be the worst sitcom character to live with? Quite a lot of them are unbearable if you actually had to be in a room with them. Like Brent is funny to watch, but he would be insufferable. He's too needy, man. I'm watching New Girl right now. They're funny to watch, but again, like Schmidt from there. Basil Fawlty, hilarious to watch. Don't think he would be that great as a person to hang out with. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he would be, if you calmed him down, sat him down, he's always at work. So, how not all of us are best reflected at work. Maybe get him around, get him to another hotel, do a bit of recon on how they do things. That's how we get him out, because he's obviously a workaholic. Get him out down the road, get a few Get a few beers in him, see if he livens up. Um, Other than that, like Joey, he was pretty. I mean, I live with someone called Joey. My wife Joanna is called Joey, but that wasn't subliminal. I wasn't like saying she's the worst person to live with by, directing it at the other Joey Tribbiani. To be honest, I'm going to be honest. I'd like to live in any sitcom. I'd just become a character as well and just forget that these people are annoying. Just be annoying myself. So that's how I get rid of stress. What was your weirdest crush? Chris Hemsworth. If there is a world catastrophe and only a few people survived, what is your special skill to help rebuild the world? Ooh, a lot of my skills are technology based, and I imagine this world catastrophe would get rid of that. So I might just have to. If there's some duct tape around, I'm pretty handy with some duct tape. I can cover a lot of ground with duct tape. So yeah, I'll be the duct tape guy. What would you do during the purge? That's a lovely question for a Saturday. I've actually put a lot of thought into this over the years because I quite like those films. They're a little bit underrated. What would I do? I'll definitely be defensive. It's not like I'm not watching that film wishing I was out there. I'm watching it like getting nervous as soon as their characters accidentally end up outside, which they're obviously going to. It'd be a rubbish film if they didn't. But I've always thought I'd try and use technology, so I'd like have webcams set up. I always thought barbed wire on the stairs leading up. Yeah, I'll put some thought into this. Put barbed wire on the stairs leading up to my flat. I think that would deter some people. But I've got a little hideout. I'm not going to reveal my whole plan in case this goes down, and I don't want to broadcast that because there's obviously the element of surprise. You need to keep that in the purge. We learned that from one. It's in all of them. Element of surprise. So come find out on purge night. Come round. See what I'm doing. It'd probably be good to be like safety in numbers, wouldn't it? So but yeah, we'll cross that when we come to it. If you could physically fight any historical figure, who would it be and why? I'd like to. I think Thomas Jefferson is owed a few historical swings, to be honest, because didn't he steal stuff? I'm not that clued up on this. I don't know if that's coming out across. I'm not historically educated, but I swear Thomas Jefferson was a wrong 'un in some ways. You can't libel the dead, so no one panic. What is the scariest thing that's ever happened to you? So in kind of line with comic relief, I was in Africa with my brother who was out there. He'd been out there for a year, volunteering, doing some work with education, and I went out there for his last little bit to visit in the Gambia. This was shout outs to the Gambia, and I got food poisoning while I was there. And it wasn't just like, oh, I've got a dodgy tummy. It was like it took over my whole body. I won't go into details, but it was a very scary physical experience. No, that's not because it was. It's more because it's graphic, not because it's disgusting. It was. My body didn't like what was happening, and you're out we're essentially out far away from anything that you would recognize as a town, like in England. Anything that we're kind of out there, and you've symptoms that you're not familiar with happening to your body, and you don't know what's going on. It was very, very terrifying. My brother jumped into action real quick. He managed to get the governor's car. So I don't know what the governor does, but the car was banging. So he was, he was a good person to call upon in that moment. The governor's car comes, picks me up, take me to the hospital. The hospital, again, wouldn't be anything you would recognize as a hospital over here, but the care within it was amazing. So yeah, you're going into this battered building and thinking, I can't remember what I was thinking going into it, that just the whole thing was terrifying. yeah, so we go into the building, but then they've got amazing resources, like really good medicine. I imagine this is all from kind of charitable, kind of the structure of charity that like provides this kind of thing in places where you wouldn't necessarily usually have it or expect it. And yeah, the doctors were just, they were exactly the same as anywhere I've ever seen a doctor, just very ready, good, knowledgeable, whatever you want to call it, just doctor. You guys have seen a doctor, right? Um, and yeah, they said it was food poisoning, and it was just terrifying because you're just so far away from home, so alien. Everything that's going on is so alien, and was looking down the barrel. I thought, thank goodness for the care, and thank goodness for the governor's car. Yeah, so don't forget to donate because I 100% convinced that that's the kind of thing it all goes to, is those supplies that I used that day. SuperPod.co.uk, top right, donate, Comic Relief. Shout outs to Comic Relief. I'm going to move on to the next question, which is a bit lighter. You're stuck on a boat with 100 eggs and 100 chocolate bars. You're able to cook the eggs however you like. Which do you eat first? Who is picking eggs? Who put eggs against chocolate? I mean, I'm eating 50 of the chocolate bars before I even look at an egg. It says, oh, you're able to cook the eggs however you want. Like that's gonna make it as good as chocolate? Come on. I mean, obviously, if I'm stuck in a boat, I'm gonna have to be mature at some point and eat some eggs to get the protein, get the energy levels up. I understand that, but I also know who I am and my priorities and my willpower and self-control. So I'm eating 50 chocolate bars, then probably 2 eggs, then probably the other 50 chocolate bars, and then just egg after that. That's just me being honest. That is what would happen because I have no control when it comes to chocolate. If you could have dinner with one person in history, who would it be? This guy, probably. For those listening, it's Tupac Shakur. Believe it or not, I've mentioned him already. Yeah, one person in history, probably. Yeah, it would have to be. How's everyone doing anyway? Do get in touch while we're going. I've been fired up for this. This is such, like I say, a really cool event that Al's put together. So I'm just going. I listen to All I Do Is Win before I press record, and now look at me go. I was listening to the other shows today. They were really cool. I listened to was it Stacey and Barry? I was enjoying that. They answered a couple of questions. I think, what fictional town would you live in came up, and that was one I had on my list. I was thinking more like fictional computer games, and I was going to go in the GTA world and go and fly in cars and stuff. But then, because then, like, you'd say, "Oh, it's dangerous," but then you just respawn. But then I did think, but do you just, that's a painful thing to go through just because you can respawn. So I'm also playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption, and I like that landscape. And but fictional world, he said Metropolis over Gotham. Definitely, I'm with him there. Gotham would the novelty would wear off quick. Yeah, and 100 gigs. I listened to a bit of that. So the 100 gigs thing. So that came from Eddie Izzard, didn't it? It was he said if you do 100 gigs, you'll know what type of comedian you are. And I had that in my head when I was doing it. I got to 25. Gorney 7789 said Red Dead is awesome. It really is. I've been playing GTA for years and been like putting off playing Red Dead, like, for no reason of its own. Just enjoying GTA so much. But then started playing Red Dead, and the visuals of it is so awesome. I just get lost. Feel like I'm actually outside, wandering around in the wild, hunting stuff. Endless fun I'm having with that game. It says, out of all the different art forms, which one is your personal favorite? That's tough, isn't it? I think it depends when you're asked in my life. I think right now it's music. In the past, it's been films. It's never been books because I'm just not intelligent enough to. I don't have the patience. Um, Paintings and stuff like art is cool also, but I don't get moved in the same way as listen to like music or films. I do think there's some truth in like Netflix and that has ruined cinema in some ways. I just don't. But it might just be like I say, it might just be the time in my life. But I don't feel as connected to cinema as I used to. I used to have an unlimited card and go every week and see like films that I just wouldn't watch now. I only really watch the big names these days. Salt or sweet? That is, I mean, it's sweet every day for me. I like the mixture one that they do now, but that just can't be healthy for you. You know, the one that's salt and sweet. But I am sweet all the way. Honestly sometimes just go to the cinema because I fancy eating popcorn. The film is not even secondary. It's the drive there to listen to the music. It's getting the daughter out of the house. It's and priority number one is get the biggest thing of popcorn I possibly can. But definitely sweet. This one. So the donations, this link has just been put in the chat. In case you're listening, don't forget to check that out. And remember, it's superpod.co.uk in the top right. Donate if you listen to this after the fact. The next question I haven't got an answer to, so I shouldn't read it out because it'll just reveal how I'm not able to answer on the spot. What would the tagline for your life be? That's tough. That requires a lot of soul searching to come up with that answer. But I'm gonna. It'll be something good. This time it's personal. I mean, that seems to fit a lot of films. I'll go with that. What's the tagline for the Joker? That film was pretty representative. I can't see. Let's go. I've got some other questions, but do keep them coming in. Put them in the chat. But I'll think about that tagline one. I'll have to get back on another episode. Just a shameless plug for my other episodes, for our other episodes. We're AASQ Podcast. If you type that into Spotify, Apple, anywhere, you'll find us there. Instagram, Twitter, AASQ Podcast. We drop every Friday at the moment. Loads of stuff on there. Do check us out. We'd much appreciate it. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say? I'd probably do what I just did and plug the podcast because I've got too much to say. 30 seconds isn't enough. So I just use it as advertisement for the podcast, drive everyone there, and then try and get their attention with all the important stuff like charity, for instance. If you had, or today, if you gave me 30 seconds today, I'd shout out the SuperPod free. If you had to work but you didn't need the money, what would you do? What would you do? That's a good question. Probably this stuff, creative stuff, probably make more. I seem to run out of energy. But then when I've been in instances where I don't have work, and I feel like work, you kind of use the energy you get from work to run into the weekend doing like this. If I had no job or this to do today, I'd probably be very low energy today because I'd just switch off. But because I've been working and because this is on, you just, yeah. It's not really answering the nature of the question. The nature is try and imagine, what would you do? But I'd probably just make videos, make try and make films, make music, make podcasts, just make stuff. What is in your fridge right now? Not a lot. I would need to go shopping. So I'm going to wrap it. I'm not actually going to. Don't panic. I do need to go shopping today, so there's not a lot. There is some cheeses from the Isle of Arran. That's a spoiler. But hopefully, my mother-in-law isn't listening because that's a Mother's Day present for her. So that's the most noteworthy thing. There's some Baby Bells, some light Baby Bells. It's cheese heavy at the moment. It's cheese heavy, but other than that, not an awful lot. If you were home on a rainy Sunday afternoon, what movie would you most want to see on television? So if I'm there with my daughter and my wife, it would be different than if I was on my own. If I was there with my daughter and wife, I would go with like Willy Wonka, the original. We all like that. Well, me and my daughter. She likes the new one a bit more, I think, which would be controversial for a lot of people. Do you know the Johnny Depp one? But because she's watched it on repeat over and over, I've actually. It's trouble when you make a remake. You're always comparing it, but I've watched it so many times now. It kind of feels like its own thing, and they did do a really cool job with that. The songs are actually good, and they're like a lot closer to the book, aren't they, lyric-wise? Because that was the big problem people had, that the Oompa Loompa songs were reimagined when they are cinema classics. We all agree with that, but you do have to move with the times. And Johnny Depp did a really good job, really interesting choices in that character. And if I was on my own, rainy Sunday, I really like 500 Days of Summer as a kind of sad Sunday rain. I think the rain would add to the atmosphere of that, but more often than not, I'm picking a comedy. So like Step Brothers, Anchorman, Other Guys, something like you just know you're going to laugh at, even though you've watched it 100 times. Where do you not mind waiting? There is not many places that I do. I hate waiting. I'm very impatient. I will like drive an extra 20 minutes just so I don't have to sit in traffic. Like if I can keep the car moving, I'll choose that over a quicker traffic filled. I do not like waiting, to be honest. No, yeah, I tried really hard to think then. In that one split second, I checked my entire hard drive in my brain and couldn't find one instance. If you could close one fast food chain due to disgusting food, what would you pick? Well, I'm gonna reveal myself here because I don't care. I'll just I know what I'm getting into. When I go to McDonald's, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm eating disgusting food. It tastes great though. So what's disgusting? I mean, everyone should eat healthy, obviously, but I'm just saying we all know what's that when we go to a fast food place. If you could disinvent one thing, what would it be? I've been thinking on this actually this week about social media and whether it's, like people joke, that the what you call it, the experiment's over and that we should back out now. And they're probably right. They're probably right. It's just such a shame because it's got such a good side, but then it's matched to the pinpoint of its bad side as well. It's like, so I'll probably, if I could disinvent it and like we all just forget about it, it'd probably be social media. If you could be a member of any sitcom family, what would it be? Maybe because it says the word family, but Modern Family, they're a nice bunch, really. That'd be all right. Definitely not WandaVision. Family. I'm going to go with Modern Family. Phil Dunphy as a dad. How could you go wrong? I feel like I could help Claire as well. She needs some help sometimes. Bless her. She's impressive. She's a great mum and a great business CEO, whatever she is. Spoiler, sorry, that's a Modern Family spoiler. But Jay, he's a good granddad. Yeah, it's funny that I've positioned myself as a child because really, if I went into that family, I would be closer to like Mitch and Cam and Phil and Claire's age, wouldn't I? So I'd probably be that generation. But I just pitched myself as Luke. Sandy Cohen from the AOC and Phil Dunphy from Modern Family. That is a good mixture. Yeah. I mean, Phil Dunphy is just a dream. Oh, what about Fresh Prince? The Fresh Prince family would be cool. Uncle Phil. It's always Uncle Phil and Phil Dunphy that I think of in terms of classic sitcom father figures. Jay's a good, Jay's like a different generation. Jay, what's his last name? Not Dunphy, is it? I can't think now. Pritchett, Jay Pritchett. Would you leave your hometown forever? Would you leave your hometown forever or stay in your hometown forever? So I'm guessing I'd probably have to leave because if you leave your hometown forever, then you've still got the whole world to choose from. If you stay in it forever, then you've just got to stay there. I quite like it here. It's nice. But I'll just move to an adjacent town. Kind of found a bit of a loophole and ruined the nature of the question, but it's got to be leave. Just live nearby. When scrolling through social media, do you prefer posts from celebrities or from your best friends? Oh, sorry for the dead air there. I had to think. But it's a complicated answer. I try not to follow that many celebrities because then you just get lost in a nonsense world that doesn't, it's just confusing. And so like on Instagram, I only really follow my friends. On Twitter, I follow random people more than I follow celebrities like music people and podcasts and, stuff like that. So out of those answers, definitely friends over celebrities. I like some celebrities if they're funny or interesting. Is there an app that you hate but use anyways? Yeah, probably social media, it says on this website, and you're right. No, I don't really hate. Oh, well, I don't like Instagram, really. And it's not like, I just don't like it even just as a functional thing, not just the other side of it. If you could only speak one word today, what would you say? SuperPod, free. But it would make for a terrible episode because I'd just be shouting that for an hour. So luckily we're not in that predicament. What is the stupid thing you've done because someone dared you? And then it says everyone's got a great story, and I just cannot think of what. Oh, I remember. So I wasn't that delinquent when I was young. I was more like sarcastic and cheeky, I think anyway. But I didn't get into much trouble as a kid. But once I got dared to throw an egg, right? And I threw it, and then got chased by the police. So I just stepped out of the rules for one moment, and the police got involved. It was probably a good thing because it was like, that could have been the start of a delinquent phase, and it was just wiped out immediately. But yeah, that was probably the stupidest thing I've done, and I got instant karma for it, so no problem. What is the stupid thing you've done of your own free will? Well, technically that was my own free will because, I'm not going to, I don't want to lose accountability for that. I chose to throw that egg, and I will deal with the legal ramifications if the statute of limitations hasn't been lifted on that incident. But what's the stupid thing you've done of your own free will? The story that comes to mind was when I was in Portugal. So I went to Portugal, and I was staying in Albufeira. Shout out to Albufeira. What's it called? The Algarve, Portugal. Beautiful. Beautiful. But I went for a walk. I thought, let's check out the let's go off the beaten track. So I just started following the coastline along, and then I got to these cliffs, and then this one cliff was quite what's the opposite of steep? Like quite a nice drop down to this what looked like a secluded like paradise beach. So I thought I could make that. I think if I could make that, and I didn't try it that day. I kind of thought I was kind of hyped by the walk, and I was excited to be in Portugal. So I thought, let's not do anything silly today. I went back another day, and I was like, no, seriously, I could make that. I mean, it's a cliff, but it's basically steps the way it looks, and then I'm going to be down alone on this beautiful paradise secluded beach. I'll be like the Buddha. I could sit there for days in silence and really find out about life. That was the plan. So I just did it. I just started rock climbing down this cliff, and it wasn't as friendly as it looked. And the moment I realized that was the exact point of no return. It was like I was halfway between the two, where thought actually I should go back up. It was that point that I couldn't. Like, if I'd have realized that a little bit earlier, I would have been able to go up. Maybe that was why it suddenly panicked me, because I was suddenly like, oh, I'm committed now. So I just had to just go down it. I went down, and I kind of navigated it okay. It was, it wasn't safe. Then I get to the bottom of this bit that I've been climbing down, and then there's like a ridiculous drop to the beach that you just couldn't see from the top. It was like an optical illusion, and it looked like these rocks went all the way down to the beach, but they didn't. So now I'm at the top, and I had this big bag because I missed a part of the story, but I was going to be staying there. Like I said, I was actually going to stay there for 4 days, like the Buddha. That was the plan. I could give more specifics, but that was essentially it. So I put the backpack, I throw it down, one to sort of test what the impact's like when you get down there, but also because it was harder to get down with it on. It like smashed. Like I had bottles of drink. It wasn't a good landing. But again, I was past the point of no return, especially now that I'd just thrown all my stuff down there. So I tried to like shimmy. That's the best way I could describe it. Like there was like a tiny bit of like hill to this dead drop. So I kind of tried to like slide down it. That didn't work, but I put too much weight, flipped, and landed on the beach. Thank goodness, no injury, but it was like that was way too dangerous for what I was trying to do. But then, boom, I'm down on this paradise beach all by myself to sit and think about life. So I sit down, and then someone walks around the cliff from the other side. And it turns out this beach is like just part of a pub, and it was like there's steps basically, just like meters away from where I started climbing down. If you go over a hill and down a bit, there's a pub and there's stairs down to this beach. So that was the stupidest thing I did of my own free will, but I survived it. Thank goodness. But yeah, if you could, when I did that as well, just to go back, so this guy walks around the beach. I'm like in shock. It's like I've seen like a wild animal, in the wrong place. Basically, I was just expected to be there completely alone, and then I'm suddenly confronted with reality. And the first thing I said to the person, it was such a weird thing to greet, because they went, "Oh yeah," like people do when they see a stranger. I said, "This is a lovely beach, isn't it?" Because I'm shocked, like, oh my God, I'm not alone. I need to be, I need to be social now. And I said, "You're lucky I'm not naked." What the hell does that? He doesn't know the context. That he doesn't know that I've just climbed down a thing because I had this plan. I was going to sit on a beach all by myself. He doesn't know all that context to know why I would say you're lucky. So imagine just meeting someone and they just said, "You're lucky I'm not naked." That's such a weird way to introduce yourself to someone. He took it quite well. He just like smiled, like, "Hey, yeah, I guess I am." If you're listening, mate, that was the context. So now you know. If you could lock up one person in a mental institution, who would it be? Um, Piers Morgan? He needs to calm down a bit, doesn't he? Needs to have a bit of therapy about Meghan leaving him. And by leaving him, I mean meeting him once. And then, him creating this life that they had in their own. I don't want to get too into it. I don't want to give him too much attention. He loves that, doesn't he? But he definitely needs some help. What part of your body could use a little lotion? It's just, everyone should. Although I have got a moisturising glove. I don't mind admitting that. My wife got that for me because I guess my hands need it. So there you go. Wasn't expecting that question, but I had an answer, thankfully. What part of the human face is your favourite? That's an interesting question. I guess the mouth, because I like it's nothing better than a smile, I guess. So I'd say the mouth. Eyes are cool, but it's when it's part of the mix on their own. Maybe eyes, maybe some cool eyes. Do you dance crazy when no one is looking? I dance spectacularly when no one is looking. Okay, I don't like this crazy. I dance in when no one is looking. I dance. I put on some shows. It is a shame no one is looking. That's what I will say. There was something else I was going to say, but it doesn't matter now. What was the best thing before sliced bread? That's just that's like a rhetorical question, isn't it? The wheel, probably. If you could wedgie any historic, who would you pick? Thomas Jefferson. Let's have a couple of punches with him in that fight, and then just to tap. I mean, I'm assuming I'm winning this fight, but like as my winning move, I could wedgie, and then play all I do is win. I think that'd be a good visual for history to go in the history books. After that question, they've got a picture of Abraham Lincoln on this website. Why would you throw him under the bus? Oh well. How come you never read about a psychic winning the lottery? Good point. Maybe they're not as legit as they claim. I've never considered that, but this website has opened my eyes. How many pennies would fit into this room? What? Lots. It would just require too much maths. I would get. I'm not into it. I'm not going to do that with you guys. I'll work it out. I'll do some calculations. You've been given an elephant. You can't get rid of it. What would you do with it? I think I've answered this before. I would just, like I said, I said I would hang out with it. I would probably donate it to the zoo under the strict understanding that I could, hang out with it whenever I want. In and out of hours. I don't think I specified that last time, so that's the only thing we can add to that. What's the wildest thing you've ever done in a hotel room? What's the stupidest question you've ever answered? What is the stupidest question you've ever answered? That is a good question. I think some of these, when I do random, like when we're not focusing on one, I'm just looking at my history. When we focus on lots, we get lots of random weird questions in these ones where we do loads. Oh, I know. This is. I don't know if it's stupid. I don't want the stupidest to be seen as a negative with this one, but I love this question. It was you're walking in the woods. Steve Irwin runs up, tackles you, pins you down, starts talking to the camera about you. What would he say about you? Actually, it wasn't in the world. It was in your environment. So it was in your house. He tackles you and then starts to tell the audience about, your species, you as an individual. What would he say? I really like that question because I really found it funny, that visual of being tackled. And because, that's what they must feel like. Alligators and stuff, they're just chilling. And then he's like grabbing their tail and talking about it. And they're like, don't put my business out on the streets. Come on. So that was one of the like more wildest questions that I've tackled on this show. AASQ podcast, search us everywhere: Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram. Would you rather be trapped in an elevator full of men with that stink, basically, or 3 soaked dogs? Soaked dogs, man. Soaked dogs. Oh, trapped, though. Trapped. Yeah, still the dogs, man. Just, I couldn't handle the social side of men. Full of men as well, like sardines. Gorney7789 was with that. What was the stupidest questions? And they said that is a visual. It really is, isn't it? It really like sparked a part of my brain that I don't think has ever been accessed. Great question. Whoever came up with that. Yeah, I'm going to go with the dogs. You know, they're going to shake once each. You got 3 shakes. You know, that's going to be unpleasant. You're going to get covered in dog water. But after that, it's going to be clean sailing. You're just going to be hanging out with dogs. So, and that's not a bad day for me. Earlier it said, where do you mind waiting? There you go. There's my answer. I don't mind waiting in an elevator to be fixed with 3 dogs. That would be cool. Would you rather live permanently in a roller coaster park or a zoo? Definitely a zoo. That would be fun. Feeding. I'd help out. I'd become a helper, a zoo helper person. I'd like to think I'd strike up some cool relationships with some of the animals, and maybe we could get like a film thing going where it's like, you know, We Bought a Zoo. That was a film. I could be that. I live permanently in a zoo. That's, you know, could be the follow-up. Would you rather look like a potato or feel like a potato? Again, I think I've answered that one before, and I think I went with look because I'm not that. I feel like I'm closer to that than feeling like one would be. I think that would be difficult. Clark Melodies is, where do giraffes wear ties? Top or bottom of their neck? Ooh, that has plagued philosophers for years, but I will answer it for you. I think it would be. It is tough. I was going to commit to the bottom, but then, you know, it looks a bit foolish, doesn't it? Because then they're not like the smart thing of wearing a tie is how your face looks with it like right up to your chin. Ooh, this one is tough. I'm going to go with top for that reason. I think it needs to be, you need to get the photo of the face with that there. It still looks a bit full. You could wear both. Giraffes have that option. I mean, it's a bit weird, but I think they could get away with it. Thank you for that question, Clark Melodies. Would you rather never be able to express yourself accurately or always have to say the exact truth? I would like to be forced to say the exact truth because I get this endless panic of like, am I coming across okay? So if everyone, you know, if it just had to speak the truth all the time, it would take a lot of pressure off me. So I'd do that. And never being able to express yourself accurately, that sounds terrible to me. Like I said, it causes me stress anyway when I feel like I'm doing an okay job of it. If it was written in ink that I could never do it, that would panic me. Would you rather be able to copy and paste in real life or undo in real life? Definitely undo. Copy and paste. What would you do there? I mean, you could just copy and paste a house and a mansion and live in it, so that would be pretty cool. What would undo? But then you could like go try and bet on a horse. When it loses, undo, bet on the one that won. So we're getting towards the end of my time here, which is fine. It's been a lot of fun. It's been just as fun as I thought it would be. Again, shout outs to Al, SuperPod, for putting this together, because this is just a really cool event. Really well done to like react to the situation and do it this way. Not sure, you know, to be honest, if it was in person, I'd have probably talked myself out of it. So I'm happy. I'm selfishly happy that I was able to get involved. Before I'll sort of answer the last couple of questions, but I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all, to my mum, to my wife, to my mother-in-law, to my sister, to I've got a lot of mothers in my life. Happy Mother's Day to all of them, and all the ones that aren't in my life, because you're all in my life. You all exist in the same timeline, so that's something. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Sounds like a Alan Partridge insult or something. You mothers. Happy Mother's Day, you mothers. Yeah, don't forget to donate. We are raising money for comic relief, and if you can spare any money at all, please donate. Superpod.co.uk, click donate in the top right hand corner. And if you're a UK taxpayer, don't forget to say yes to gift aid so that the government adds the extra 25%. Yeah, make them pay. Sorry, I got political just for a second. Let's not do that right now. Yeah, thank you again. And yeah, don't forget to donate. This is all for comic relief. I'll keep going with questions until Al, you're welcome to drag me off whenever you need to, but I'll keep going until then. Would you rather keep your current sleep schedule or hibernate for 3 months and have 9 months of 24/7 alertness without being tired? Definitely that. I was excited by the idea of sleeping for 3 months without the added bonus of then I'm like never tired. So definitely that, 100% that. My sleep schedule isn't as bad as it's been at certain points in my life, but still, it says 24/7 alertness. I don't think I've ever experienced that. Imagine what we could get done. Would you rather have a permanent clogged nose or a piece of green food always stuck in your teeth? Oh, I don't like either of those. Let's not end on that note. Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or have the agility of a cat? Bro, breathe underwater. How long do I get the agility for? Because, if it goes with age, I'd probably only end up with like 20% of it right now anyway. But I'd go with breathe underwater. How you doing, Al? Oh, are you on mute or am I can't hear you.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
I have this problem every day of flicking on and off and getting the timing right. I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming on and doing this. It's been great. One final question. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah. I've been looking forward to it, and I was enjoying watching it beforehand, and really appreciate being asked to come on. So yeah, definitely have.
Not a problem. Well, thanks very much. And everyone, if you've enjoyed that, go check out Ask a Stupid Question podcast, wherever you may find them.